Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Entertainment Bubble. I'm your host and MyHighPlains.com correspondent Aaron Rosas. We are recapping all of the latest entertainment news this week. And of course, I have back from Studio 4 correspondent, we have Sheryl Proctor. Hi, Sheryl.
Hi. Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, this week was a good week because of our top entertainment story. It's been bringing me happiness all week.
Yes, so that is what I want to get right into. We have a Blink-182 tour reunion. Sheryl is in love with Blink-182.
Yeah, so this is my genre of music. And I knew it was going to be big news for me. And I didn't realize it was going to be one of the top trending things of the week.
Yeah.
But
Pretty top there.
So Blink-182, of course, founded in 1992. You have Tom DeLonge, you have Mark Hoppus, you have Travis Barker. Who kind of came along later. But this band is kind of, they were pop punk. They were in a time that came after pop punk bands that were like very edgy and making things that weren't necessarily great for radio. And then they came along and they kind of simplified, but still had these messages of like, not everything could be played on the radio. But to me, they're kind of the grandfather of all of the other pop punk, alternative rock, metalcore like type of bands that came after that. So things like All Time Low, Paramore, Fall Out Boy, Green Day was kind of on the same level as them. So all of those types of bands that came after somehow have an influence of Blink-182. So I'm glad to see that they're back. We have a new song that's out today. We're going to get a new album, and then they're going on tour.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
So this isn't simple. They're going hard on this one because if they're doing a tour, they're doing new music, they're reunited. This is going to be a huge reunion, and I'm excited for fans. You got some tickets, didn't you, Sheryl?
Yeah, so
I'm a little bit jealous.
Pre-sale happened, and it's one of those things like if you don't get tickets, it's gonna be hard to get tickets once you get there because they're not super cheap. They're definitely not cheap right now. So yeah, pre-sale was earlier this week, and then general sale on the 17th. Okay, and they have shows in like Dallas and Houston that are kind of close to here. So
okay. So I think that's awesome. So Dallas on July 5th is Dallas, what I'm seeing. And then they go to Houston days later, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then on myhighplains.com, we have an article where you can go in there and actually get ready to get those tickets. Like Sheryl said, October 17th, you can go see them. The thing that I love about Blink-182 is I didn't know too much about them, but what I like is it is one of those bands where you can go to YouTube and you see like 6 or 7 songs. You're like, wait, this was Blink-182? This is a really good song. Can I show some 90s throwbacks of these people?
Please do. These are going to be so great.
So here's, first of all, Travis Barker is giving me some weird vibes. Like It
was the 90s. I feel like that was very much 90s.
Okay, so yeah, this is definitely a throwback for sure. I mean, they're rocking it. I feel like a lot of bands look like this in the 90s. So they were just moving with the times. You know what I mean? They knew their looks.
A lot of people, especially early on, can't tell Mark Hoppus and Tom DeLonge apart. And I absolutely understand that.
Okay, so this picture right here, which one is is it Hopper? You said Hops?
Mark Hoppus. Hoppus is the one in the middle, and then Tom DeLonge's over there to the right. So all of them at one point, they kind of broke up and all went their separate ways.
Right.
And they each kind of formed their own side project band thing. So you have Simple Creatures, you have Angels and Airwaves. There's another one that I can't remember off the top of my head. Boxcar Racer, I think is what it's called. And so they all kind of went off and did their own things. And then a few weeks ago, I actually did this on Studio 4. A few weeks ago, there were rumors that Tom DeLonge was coming back into the band because his Instagram or his Twitter had, where they put like all the stuff they're involved in.
Right.
Somehow it reappeared that he was part of Blink-182. And so people were like, wait a minute. You're part of the band? Are we getting the band back? Having the band back together?
I love when these artist tease stuff, right? Because it just makes people want to know more and more and go to these shows. And obviously they're, me and Cheryl just looked at some ticket prices right now, you guys. It's not cheap. We saw one for $355 about, and it was way in the nosebleeds. Yes.
I'll tell you, on the 17th, whatever that sale time, because, they have pre-sale tickets, so there's X amount of tickets, and then they have general sale tickets. So just because pre-sale is expensive and sold out doesn't mean general sale is. But I will tell you, when we got into the Ticketmaster app, there were 2,000 people in front of us. And I think we had gotten in like 2 minutes before sales open.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, if you want to go, make sure that you're in that queue, that you have everything that you need, and be expected to pay, I would say at least $100, depending on where you want to sit. I saw some for like 80 when I first went on there. So
that's not bad. Like I would spend $80 for sure on a Blink-182 concert.
Well, and what's great about this is, one, people want this type of music. And you can see that in the When We Were Young festival that's coming up at the end of this month, because that sold out very, very fast. It's got all of like the old school, the Yellow Carb, the My Chemical Romance, those types of bands. And they already put out the lineup for next year's concert.
Oh, wow.
And we're a year out. I mean, this one hasn't even started, and they're already doing next year. And next year, it's headlined by Green Day and Blink-182.
That's going to be incredible.
Which is like everybody who likes this genre, those are like the grandfathers of this genre to me. And that lineup is crazy.
So Blink-182, they'll be in concert. They're going on a world tour reunion. Yay for that. If you want tickets, October 17th.
Yes. I'll have to come back on if I make it.
Oh,
we're a year out. So
yes, because I want to see videos and stuff of it, because I definitely want to see the band members up there and see how they really interact live, especially it being so long since they've all been together.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah. Should be good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to Kaley Cuoco from The Big Bang Theory. She is pregnant and expecting her first child with Tom Pelphrey. I should say.
Yeah.
So the name is probably, that's why I'm going to bring up some images and stuff of him, because the name for me is not recognizable until you see his face. I watched all of Ozark, and he's in Ozark. There's a great scene. He played the brother of Laura Linney's character. And spoiler alert, if anyone cares, she basically turns him into the Mexico mafia, and they kill him because she gets her own brother killed because he's got mental issues and she can't handle it. So she's like, yeah, here's my brother. I can't handle. So yeah, they end up killing him. But
this relationship is like new-ish.
It's new.
Kind of. I mean, it went public in May. But
yeah, I don't believe they've even been dating for a year.
I mean, she's like, her photo is so cute.
She's so cute. So these Instagram images so it's a girl. They revealed it's a girl. And they look really happy. Like, this is them all happy at some award show.
Yeah.
But, I know relationships haven't always been her strong suit, or she hasn't always been lucky in love. She's been married twice. The latest marriage didn't work out after a couple years. She filed for divorce. She dated her Big Bang Theory co-star Johnny Galecki from 2007 to 2009. I actually thought they dated longer than that. I did some research, and it just said like a couple years in the mid early 2000s.
And I think she's been more open about how that relationship started on that show. I saw an article, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, where she kind of broke down like the moment that she like fell in love and started dating him on the show and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And then, but they look so happy, and
they look happy, and I am happy for her because I feel like it seems as if obviously we're not in her life or her relationships, but she was really timing out until she was fully invested, fully engulfed in love to have a child, because she was married twice before she did not have children. So I feel like there's some kind of sign and understanding just right there that she didn't have kids with these 2 other men that she married. So, I mean, she must be really in love.
Oh, she's adorable.
Did you watch The Big Bang Theory at all?
I watched a lot of seasons of it. I didn't get into the later seasons. But I mean, I watched probably maybe 3 seasons ish. I liked it. I don't think it's anything I'll go back and rewatch. But, on those days when there was like nothing on, it was like, 4 or 5 or however, whatever o'clock it was. I didn't mind having it on kind of in the background and paying attention every once in a while.
Yeah. I was interested in their relationship. I did some research. Like you said, you saw that she brought out some information about the relationship. I believe a reporter is doing a whole story about the incarnation of that relationship, the birth of it, how it began and all of that. So I think she's getting candid about it. How she fell in love with him. No offense, it's a bit of an odd couple.
Yeah.
But
even in the show, it was an odd couple.
It was how they fell in love. I watched some episodes and found it interesting. I'm like you, where if it's on, it's kind of entertaining. I'll watch a little bit of it, but I was never a full in-depth person that was in love with The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I agree.
So good for her, happy for her, and good luck with your little girl.
Okay, this story kind of shocked me. Blake Shelton leaving The Voice.
Yes.
So they announced that a new season's coming up. It's going to be season 23. He'll be in that season. And then after that, he's leaving the show.
Yes.
Which is shocking because I feel like that show is only popular because of Blake Shelton.
Do you think, though? Because it started with Christina Aguilera, Adam Levine, him, and I believe it was Usher was the 4th one.
Yeah, I remember watching this show. I came on a few seasons in because one of the contestants her name was Cassidy Pope, and she was the lead singer of Hey Monday.
She's awesome.
Which is in that pop punk genre. Like they went on tour with all the people. And then she branched out and went on The Voice after the band broke up. So watching that, I felt like the pull of that show was the Blake Shelton, Adam Levine kind of brotherly fight that happened. And I feel like that relationship kind of made the show.
I will agree with you because Blake Shelton's personality is really good. He's a hilarious guy. I think he interacts really well with whoever's on the panel. That's the thing, is he can adapt. He did great with him and Kelly Clarkson's banter back and forth. Ariana Grande, I watched some of those episodes. He did really well with her. This year, it's Camila Cabello standing next to him. I love her. Camila Havana. And he does really well with these young girls next to him, interacting with them. She calls him Abuelo Blake, like Grandpa Blake, because he's so old. No, he's not even that old. He's in his 40s. But because he's got the gray hair and all that.
Yeah, I mean, but even him in his music career, he's one of the older, I feel like he's one of the older country artists in terms of those who are still out and making music. Like, you have the George Straits and you have the Garth Brooks, and that's kind of, I always use this music analogy. They're kind of like the grandfathers that are still alive in country music.
Right.
And then you go down, but he's one of, I think, the older, what people in this area would consider country music, like the old school country music. And he's been around for a while. So, I mean, I would see him as kind of like that grandfather figure. We definitely know that he worked well with Gwen Stefani because they fell in love and got married. So
I personally love that relationship. The reason why I love it, it's so off kilter. It
so
makes
weird.
Zero sense. I watched a ton of interviews doing research on that, just of Blake Shelton talking about Gwen and vice versa. And when you look at him now, they've been together 7 years. They just got married a year ago. And he still is like, I can't believe I'm with Gwen Stefani. So I feel like that's a really good sign of a relationship. It still feels fresh to him when I watch him speak about her. Obviously, Gwen's like, he's my best friend. He's my favorite person and all of that.
It always weirds me out because I'm sure that they have stuff in common, but I can't tell you what they have in common. Because once again, I mean, they got married at his ranch in Oklahoma. And she was there a lot. And so you think Gwen Stefani on a ranch.
It works. But
days at a time.
When you see them interact, you know that they're best friends. And you can tell it works. I pray that in 2 years, they're like, we're getting a divorce. But I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm just saying, when you see them interacting, I'm like, oh, that's what I would want. It just looks so real.
Yeah.
And so I think that relationship, and that's one of the reasons why I started watching The Voice again, is because Gwen started going on, every other season or every 2 or 3 seasons. And it was so good. Like just seeing her now you should see the new season. So we're in the 22nd season and I'm watching it. Sheryl, the new season, they're like, oh, I blocked my husband. And I'm like, oh my God.
Cute.
So they're like calling each other husband and wife. I think it's so cute. They announced the lineup for the 23rd season. It's Blake Shelton, Kelly, I was going to say Kelly Ripa.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
That'd be interesting.
Kelly Clarkson, Niall Horn, and Chance the Rapper. That's the panel for season 23, and that will be Blake Shelton's last. And he lasted a long 23 seasons on a show.
Yeah.
That's not easy. He's been in country music for over 20 years. I'm
telling you, he's really, I think that he is really the pull for that. And I think because he's such a, like a funny character, and he's just out there and he has these great interactions. And because he has won so many seasons, he can come back and be, he does this often where he goes, well, I've had the most winners on the show, so you should come be on my team. And I think that pulls well for him. And so I think he's a big reason for that show being what it is, especially this long.
I'm looking at this photo of him and Gwen. He's huge. He's like 6'5".
Yeah.
And I think she's she's like 5'7", so she's not short.
Yeah.
So I just think, Honky Tonk Tour. So Blink-182 or Honky Tonk Tour, you could choose either one. I don't even know if he's coming to Texas. No.
Oh. How are you going to Honky Tonk Tour and not come
I know.
to Texas?
We're huge honky tonks in Texas.
Come on.
But Carly Pearson, Jackson Dean. Oklahoma. March, but you would expect Oklahoma. He literally lives in Oklahoma. Yeah, that's his hometown.
It's basically hometown.
Yeah, home state. So, yeah, I love it. I love him on
Look at that third photo.
Sure. Is that your boyfriend?
That's the Blake Shelton a lot of people remember, because that's what he looked like back in the day.
No body out now. Okay, the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The YouTube videos of when he brings out Gwen Stefani in a honky tonk tour, one of these tours, it's so interesting because obviously it's Gwen Stefani. She's incredible. I love her music, but I find it interesting because I want to see how the crowd reacts.
Yeah.
To they go nuts. I mean, it's Gwen Stefani. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, but it's always interesting to see the diversity between her music and his, and how, I don't know how it blends together, but it just works for them. So good for them, Mike. And I will continue to watch the season. There's about 7 or 8 episodes in, way more to come. They just got to, I believe, the battle rounds.
Okay.
So, on NBC. And this story, this next story, I think it speaks to our hearts.
Yeah.
Because it's got a lot of, early 2000s energy. Mtv Cribs is coming back. They did a season in 2021, but this season is going to be really massive because COVID protocols, there's a lot of stuff lifted from those protocols. Mm-hmm. So they're going to really dive into MTV Cribs. On the show, Ariel Winter, Nicole Scherzinger. The one I love is Leslie Jordan.
Oh my gosh.
I love Leslie Jordan.
That's going to be so great.
Just the way he speaks alone is going to be really entertaining. Adrian Balone, Charo, and the one I found weird. There's way more than this, by the way. But the one I found interesting was Cesar Millan, the dog trainer guy.
Okay.
I would love to see his house.
Yeah.
I guess.
So the whole premise of the show, of course, if you watched it back in the day, is just we go into celebrity houses and we just see what they're working with. And they just take us on tours. So you don't have to be, the paparazzi or a stalker and jump over the fence. which is wonderful for everybody.
Well, we've done that before, so I think that
Back in my high jump days.
back in your high jump days.
But
Back when we were athletes and we could. Now we're 30s. We're in our 30s.
I can't do that. My knee hurts all the time.
Same.
But I'm glad that these shows are coming back. I think it's the perfect time. If you look at, I'll tell you, side note, I'll tell you, psychology says that when we are overwhelmed or stressed or, at kind of breaking points in our mental health, we will go back to things that are familiar. So whether that's TV shows or food or music, or we don't want anything new. We want something comforting. So if you find yourself like watching the same shows over and over, that's why it's a comfort thing. So I think people, especially now when things are so uncertain, they want those things that were comforting to them, whether that's, Legends of the Hidden Temple or MTV Cribs, or when we were young festival on all the bands that we used to watch in the 2000s that were on Warped Tour. People want like those comforting things. And I think it's the perfect time for MTV to jump on that in terms of bringing MTV Cribs back.
I think so too. I love the early works of MTV Cribs. This will take it back, Sheryl.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Big Snoop Deal double
Snoop Dogg.
He looks the same. Let's be honest here.
He's never gonna change. Like he just looks.
And that's my dog killer, rest in peace, Don Corleone.
Oh my god.
Don
Oh my
Corleone.
gosh.
That's his dog's name.
Oh,
Yeah, y'all, just the backyard in the wonderful
like
world of
look
doggy
at this
land. Just a
house.
little
I mean,
patio
even
area right here.
then, can you imagine what they're gonna look like in these new seasons? They're gonna be massive and 50 times bigger than this. And I'm sure he moved out of this house and got an even bigger
Now
house.
look at my dogs, they're gonna show out for you.
Oh my god.
He's got like a dog kennel.
Dog house.
This my dog, white boy right here.
What?
Hi, Whitey. Hi, Whitey. But he look like gray boy
Hi,
right now
Whitey.
because he ain't clean.
Jeez.
The names.
It's all about Snoop Dogg.
Wait, who is this?
Freaks right here. Over here is what I
is
got.
that?
The walk-in closet. Hang.
Okay.
Okay, this
should we go to Usher?
Yes. Look at this.
She basically said that from his real
Look at the throwback, the zebra print.
Okay, can we talk about he hasn't aged either? I saw him in an NPR mini desk concert. Looks just like that.
Oh my gosh.
I don't understand. Oh my
Look
gosh.
at the cards.
Yeah, so you can watch the old episodes on YouTube if you want to get a feel for what is happening. But
Why is he in the? I'm sorry.
that coat though.
That coat.
Oh, don't just throw it there.
I know. Oh, he just looks young.
I love it.
Oh yeah, it's
What?
gonna be
He
good.
has
I
his own
think
recording studio. I love it.
that was a big part of my TV journey, watching TV. I
Yep.
feel like I did watch a lot of MTV Cribs. So that returns. I saw some stuff on Nicole Scherzinger. She's getting ready for the new season.
Nice.
Her house is going to be incredible.
Of course.
So I'm excited to see that. And we're just going to do a whole recap show. We'll just do one show. It's just MTV Cribs,
Perfect.
nothing else.
And then we'll just put in our own video of our own cribs and see which one is better.
Yes. I want to spice things up with the next story. Did you hear about this Devontae Adams pushing the journalist out of the way at the Raiders game? Did you see that?
Yeah. So even if you don't really like sports, you probably saw something about this. Such an not okay thing.
Yeah, I want to kind of debate this with you. We'll watch a little bit about it right here. So he's about to push him out of the way. Okay, so he does a little shove. He pushes him down. There was some debate in my family. My mom's like, get out of the way. We're huge sports people. So his apology, this is what he said. He said, sorry to the guy pushed over after the game. Obviously, very frustrated at the way the game ended. And when he ran in front of me as I exited, that was my reaction. I felt horrible immediately. That's not me. My apologies. Man, I hope you see this. That's what he wrote on Twitter.
I would say that if somebody filed a police report against me too.
Yeah, I would. The photographer did file a police report. He went to the hospital that night, and he's still an injury report, I should say, Monday night. Adams apologized for it, but we'll see where this takes him. He's going to be cited. I really feel like the NFL, first of all, is going to fine him, and we will see if any charges are brought on him. But this is technically assault.
Yeah. I feel like legally, I mean, if he gets fines, he makes a bunch of money. He can pay those.
The fines are nothing for this guy,
Fines are not, he probably won't sit out any games. So the punishment from the NFL is probably not going to be very severe that he can't handle, even if he gets, a citation from police or a ticket or he's probably not going to get arrested. He's probably not going to go to jail. But I think the NFL has had to take up a lot of different things in the past few weeks with concussion protocol, with this, a few others, of looking back at players and what they're doing or what their organization is doing. Was it right? Absolutely not. Our parents would probably say the same thing if we lost a game and then we start pushing people. Like, I don't care if you lost a game or not.
It's assault.
There's no reason to push somebody, especially when he was just, Devontae Adams was just walking to the locker room. Do you need to get to the locker room? Do you have somewhere to go?
You could tell he was mad. So literally they lost by 1 point to the Kansas City Chiefs. He was super mad. I understand. I've played sports my whole life. I understand the frustration, but you have to have self-control, man.
Like, you can't assault people because you lost. You'll probably play them again. You'll probably be all right.
Me and you, we lose at life every day and we don't assault anyone.
I don't push anybody, and I have plenty of opportunity. I work at the back of the room.
Oh my gosh,
I could push everybody when I leave.
We work in media, first of all, at a news station, the news these days. You would think we would want to beat everyone.
I lose by a point every day. I push nobody.
That's what I'm saying. So he really got frustrated. But the debate, my mom's first reaction was like, well, get out of the way.
I get it. The people on that field have to be more aware in terms of where they're going and not getting in front. Like, if I were there, I'd be like, okay, I don't need to get in front of the NFL players. They're focused on getting to the locker room or getting to here or, whatever.
Yes.
Mistakes happen, and you shouldn't get assaulted because you weren't paying attention.
Well, just to bring it back to this game where he did at the end of it push that guy down, there was, like you said, the concussion protocol is really vamped up because of the Miami quarterback, them putting him back in the game when he had concussions. So roughing the passer calls from the refs, people are really getting up in arms. Take a look at this really quick, Sheryl, up here. So this is clearly in my opinion, this is a fine hit. He tackles him. He did not go in first with his head. I think it was a fine tackle. And they called it roughing the passer. They flagged him. And I love how the commentators for Monday night were like, what do you expect him to do? Just disappear? He has to hit this quarterback if he still has the football.
Right.
Which I agree with. There's a couple calls this week where it was called roughing the passer on the quarterback. And a lot of people saying, what are you talking about?
Talking about Tom Brady?
Yeah. Like, I want to read some of these comments. Okay, I know not everyone's going to agree with this, but at some point, we need refs upstairs overruling horrible penalties like this and makes the game unplayable. So you see some people, total BS. It's called a sack. I agree. This is a quarterback. He sacked the quarterback.
Yeah. I think, once again, you're in the middle of a game. These are split-second decisions that refs are making. Some, they can be wrong. I think in this case, they definitely were. I think this is a normal tackle that you'll see against any team at any game at any time. I don't think he was roughing the passer. Now,
I better get off before, just in case we see any cuss words on there. I'm like, let's get off.
Yeah, I definitely think that there have been some missed calls in any game, but I definitely think that one was not a roughing the passer.
That's the thing. You have missed calls, and then you have outright wrong calls. To me, that was outright wrong. Where do you want him to go? His body weight is already there, first of all. He still has the ball, the quarterback. So, yeah, I didn't understand the call at all. But, just to tie that into that game, because
it's a weird time in the NFL.
It really is. And it's the whole organization, they got to figure it out. By the way, they're still investigating the Devontae Adams situation. So I'm sure they'll eventually come up with a number that they want him to pay. I don't know.
We'll see.
So luckily we don't get fined for our bad behavior.
I would be broke.
We would be broke for sure. I'm really proud of this one, Sheryl. So I did a list of 80s Halloween costumes on myhighplains.com. There's about 13 on there, 13 costumes. So have you ever dressed as an 80s icon?
I don't think Halloween? I have. Listen, I grew up in a family that didn't have much. But growing up, we had, especially as little kids, my parents bought 3 sets of these like angel butterfly wings. And so every year you would just pick a color and then just make a costume. So like the white ones, you could be a butterfly or an angel. And then we had like green ones and I think purple ones. And so you were like a butterfly or like a green angel. I mean, it was like, you did what you did. We only had like 3 things. And so even growing up, I don't think I ever played an 80s character for Halloween.
Okay. Well, here's the list. I mean, I tried to get a lot of, which the first one is what I want to be with you, which is the Shining twins.
Oh, perfect.
So I think me and you should just put on some dresses and be creepy around the office.
I'm going to have to get some taller shoes because you're tall and I'm not.
Okay. Well, I'll wear a flat and you can wear a couple inches,
9-inch heel. Got it.
9-inch heel. But, I really did some research there. So the only one that I think people might debate about is Grease because it came out in 78. But in the 80s, people were wearing the jackets, putting on that red lipstick, getting all sassy with Sassy Sandy.
Yes.
That was your nickname in high school, right? Sassy Sandy.
Only on the weekdays.
Tina Turner. Selena. I'll be Selena.
Listen, you have to get those specific outfits, though. And I didn't do a lot of crunches over the summer. So
I know. She looks ripped.
Can't look like that.
Okay, so we have Beetlejuice as well. Madonna. The thing that I put in the article I wrote, too, about Madonna, I'm like, if you don't see a Madonna Halloween costume at a party, you're probably not living.
Leave that party.
Leave it right now. You're not going to have
thing.
Friday the 13th. I try to get the best image of you, Sheryl. I'm just kidding.
That's what I look like with my face mask on self-care day.
But I don't think I would like the Friday the 13th. Whenever I see that, or like a Michael Myers mask.
Yeah, those weird me out.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Can you find an adult costume?
No. What do you mean an adult costume?
Like an adult Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles costume. Do they have those?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like these days, if you want to be Teenage Mutant Ninja, you put your kid in like a green bodysuit or something and put a bandana over their forehead. Like, I don't know how else you would make that costume. Cher, of course.
Love it. Scarface.
You know how I feel.
Yes.
Michelle Pfeiffer. You could be Al Pacino.
I would love to be Al Pacino.
We'll all be Al Pacino. The Blues Brothers, Ghostbusters,
of course,
and Risky Business.
I feel like that's the simplest one if you're looking for like a really quick Halloween costume, like you forgot or your paycheck doesn't hit till Friday or something. Right. That's like the easiest one.
And what's an article without some controversy? So I put Michael Jackson just because he was, guys, the 80s were huge for Michael Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone was dressing like him. So I feel like there's my list. I tried to get as much as I could in there, but I already know there's a lot I missed. There's so many 80s costumes that you can, and references that you could dress up as for Halloween.
Well, now we just need to find someone else and just go as Blink-182.
Well, that'd be fun. Get one more person. Do you want Travis Barker?
No.
I'll be Travis Barker then. I feel like I would make a good, put that black wig on.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you go on the Instagram and you look at Mark Hoppus and Tom DeLonge. They have aged, especially Mark Hoppus, has aged very well.
Mark Hoppus?
Yeah, and he's cancer-free. He's been a year cancer-free, which is wonderful. But, he like lost his hair and stuff. But like,
is it? Okay, so
but like, look at him. He's got some like cute dad vibes.
He's definitely got. Oh, here he is. Here's a good view of him.
But even the one before with all 3 of them, that's a recent. They go back. That one, the top in the middle.
This one right here.
That one they took because of the. That's their video. But they took that one whenever they came back together. But I mean, he has aged.
Is this him as a youngin?
Yeah, maybe. Probably.
Okay, 2006.
I'm pretty sure Travis Barker added to his tattoos.
Oh my gosh. See, but the thing about if I'm Travis Barker for Halloween, that's gonna take too long, man. I'll just put my arms out and you can just draw lines on my arms and that'll be fine.
But I mean, he's like 50 something and
Yeah.
he aged very well.
In my opinion, Travis Barker actually looks better now. I know it's kind of crazy because he's got the facial tattoos, but I wasn't a fan of how he looked in the 90s.
Click that first one. That's probably safe.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I think all three of them look great. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a good reunion tour for sure.
if you go back and look on YouTube, look at some of their old concerts. Don't listen to it with the kids around.
Okay.
But because I think they're going to have to tone down what
They're
they
soft.
say in this day and age. But yeah, they put on some great shows. So I'm expecting some good things.
Yes, and maybe October 17th I might go on and see how much tickets are just because I would want to see Blink-182.
That's a
Just
bucket list.
reliving the music. I'm like, wait, this was them. I love it.
They're a bucket,
awesome.
Yeah, they're a bucket list one for me. And I never thought, because when I started to get into that music, they were already broken up. They were doing their side projects. And so I never thought in my wildest dreams I would ever be able to see them in concert. Just like, Green Day, who's now back on tour. Those like old ones that broke up. I was like, I'm never going to be able to see. I'm just gonna have to watch YouTube. And now that they're back, I mean, that's a bucket list. I don't know how many times they're going to go on tour.
Well, YouTube's a beautiful thing because you can find anything on there. Any throwback thing you're going to be able to find on there. And that's why I love throwing it back to 80s and 90s music.
Yep.
So thank you, Sheryl.
We talked way too much about Blink-182, but it makes my heart happy.
Well, I knew, and that's why I had you on for sure. Obviously, I thought of you first because Blink-182 is the love of your life.
One of them, yes.
I have to have Sheryl on, and I will let her go off about Blink-182, and she can talk as much as she wants about it.
Yeah, it's music was one of my passion projects. Not everyone loves my style of music. Every time I bring you a band, you're like, no, but the drummer's cute. And
Yeah,
I
it's always
appreciate
the
that.
drummer for me, right? Well, we will wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Sheryl, for coming on. I
course.
appreciate it. Every time I'm ask you, you're like, yes, let's go for it.
Until the day of. I'm like, God, this is early.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I know we do film these kind of early, 8 a.m. But thank you guys, and I will see you back here next Friday where we will have, of course, more entertainment news recap. Thank you guys and have an incredible weekend. See you later.